Well, hello people. I actually tried making this video earlier. This will be take 2. My sound keeps messing up on my videos. It's like around the 6-minute mark, it just stops. I don't know why. Maybe I need to redo the app, like delete it and reload it. I don't know. I use CapCut because, well, my daughter uses CapCut, so we just all use CapCut. The reason why I'm on here today is because I've been pondering this topic a lot, and I really wanted to get the message out, so I'm going to try to make it shorter so that it can get out before my sound cuts out. But basically, what I've been kind of like thinking about in my head is, I don't know about you guys, but I see a lot of tarot readers, mediums, people who channel messages, like they pop up on my For You page, my YouTube feed. They pop up all over the place for me. And I already kind of, had the practice where I don't listen to messages that I don't want to come true, because, right, anything you give energy to is, you're going to feed it. It's going to become a reality. That's how reality is made, right? Our beliefs, our intention, and gratitude. And for me, gratitude is like the encompassing term for me that includes like my faith, as well as my choice of belief, because you cannot have gratitude unless you truly believe that what you want to happen is happening, right? Or is going to happen, or is happening now. So for me, gratitude is that part of faith. But yeah. So I already had that as like a major habit of mine, where I didn't go around looking for negative input. But it made me start to think that, we all have frequencies, energy, right? And when you think about frequency, you think about energy, you think about sound. There's different frequencies, different wavelengths. Some are fast, some are small, some are low, some are high. Some are going to be intense, some are going to be quiet. There's going to be different variations. And if energies work just like that, sound frequencies, I want you to think about it like that. When a collective is tapping into an energy frequency, whether it's a medium who's tapping into it, whether it's a channeler of some other kind, tarot reader, diviner, whatever you want to call them, they're tapping into a frequency that they're resonating at that day. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's a frequency we should be feeding. So if you are seeing these messages pop up, what I want to caution you on is that if you are to take the time to listen to that, even though you may yourself know that message isn't for you, you may have really good discernment, the problem is you're still giving it energy by paying attention to that message, by watching it. And the larger the collective is that is paying attention to a certain frequency, the more power that frequency is going to get, because it's being fed energy, which is going to attract more people to it, and probably people at a lower frequency that don't have the capacity to say, hey, this message isn't for me. I'm not going to focus on those thoughts today. Right? So we have to be very careful as a collective, any collective, what we feed energy into. And that's why globally, there's such a huge shift right now for people trying to share their stories about their awakening, share their stories about their level up, because we want people to join us on our level up. We want the whole, as many people as we possibly can get in the world to start raising their vibration, their base vibration, their floor, whatever you want to call it, so that as a collective, we're vibrating higher and higher and higher. That's basically how magic's going to come back to this planet, because we're just going to be, by the way, magic is just science unexplained, in my opinion. Energies, right? Energies, whatever. We'll discuss that later. Maybe. But anyway, so yeah, the frequencies, the more people that watch a certain message or tap into a certain energy frequency, the more power that frequency is going to get. And so there's going to be a collective that's going to be affected by that. Now, if you are the medium or the tarot card reader or the channeler or diviner or whatever you want to call yourself, possibly, I want to challenge you, possibly, and I could be wrong, you're going to have to decide this for yourself, between you and your higher self, but it's possible that you are getting negative messages, and it's actually a cue for you to go inside with those negative messages and learn how maybe you can alchemize them. Maybe there's a part of you in there that needs some healing along with that negative message, because a lot of the times, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the times the downloads I get are not just for other people. They're often very much for me, right? A lot of the times when we make messages and send messages or hear messages, I'm not making them, but you know what I mean? We get messages and we share them. As much as they help us, they're for other people. So possibly you're being challenged by your higher self or source or your guides to take those negative messages and try to alchemize it. As an example, instead of saying, you know, there could be somebody who's out there lying about you, what you could be saying is, now is a really great time to focus inward on yourself and really become confident in who you are, so that when other people say bad things, it doesn't bother you. Do you see how that got twisted? Like, you can easily take a negative message and try, not easily, but sometimes, if with practice, it can become easier. You can take those negative messages and alchemize it so that whoever's receiving it is getting out of their negative headspace. Because yeah, maybe they are in a negative headspace. Maybe you are getting negative messages because that's the frequency that person's tapped into. But how can you make it better for them? Especially if they don't have the capacity to do it themselves. Does that make sense? And I think that's what really a lot of us need to be doing, is taking the time when we get negative messages or negative input, and we take the time to alchemize it before we share it. And that's, that's an inward thing. So that's another reason for us to daily do that internal work where we meditate, let go, surrender, check in with ourselves. No judgment, okay? Don't judge yourself. It's not good. It's not bad. Energy isn't good or bad. It just is. So if you are receiving negative messages, it's not that you're good or bad. And it's not that you're getting good or bad. It's just, those are just the energies that are out there around you that you're tapping into. And you can do what you want with those energies. That's up to you. But I definitely recommend practicing alchemizing them into positive ones if you can. If you can't, maybe just don't share some messages. Like, some messages aren't necessarily meant for sharing. Just be curious and ask why. I've had a lot of negative things sometimes pop up in my head about myself or about my, what I'm thinking. And I'm like, why is that happening? And sometimes it can take me like 2-3 days of be like, why am I focused on that? Why is that bugging me? Why am I so irritated with this? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I'll be walking or I'll be doing the dishes or something mundane, and my mind is just, in its own little meditative state. And all of a sudden I'll just be like, whoa, I get it now. And so sometimes it's not an instant alchemization of energy. Sometimes it takes a minute. And that's okay too, right? There's no right or wrong. Again, energy is just energy. But that does bring me back to this whole collective thing, right? There's multiple different kind of collective consciousnesses out there, depending on what your frequency, what you're vibrating at, what you're focusing on, what you're giving your energy to. You're tapping into a collective if you're tapping into a certain belief. That includes messages online from mediums and channelers and all of those people, right? Or even those, manifestation coaches and stuff. A lot of them will be sharing their beliefs, their knowledge, their experiences. And as long as they're sharing them in an upbeat, positive fashion that encourages you to do self-reflection and find your own path, because we are all unique. We can't just copy everyone else and expect it to work forever. Eventually you have to start doing your own work, right? And find your own flow. Is that the right word? Flow. Yeah, flow. Yeah. So that is something that we all need to learn to do. And it takes time. It takes practice. But in the meantime, be very careful what collectives you're joining throughout your day, right? The beliefs of, oh, that person's definitely going to stab that person in the back. Don't believe that if you don't need to. Or, oh, well, everyone over here is going to be all mean and catty. Like, don't jump into that collective either if you can. Try to find ways, if you can, to protect yourself from those different collective beliefs, because the less we feed energy into those collective beliefs, the less power they'll have and the less ability to attract new believers. At least that's my personal view. I could be wrong, but that's kind of how I've been seeing things lately and how I've been kind of feeling them. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And I hope, it makes sense to some people. Anyways, I hope you guys have a great day. I just finished unloading my van. I'm going to go have lunch. Bye, guys.